Welcome to Lucky Fortune English. I'm Vincent, and I'm ready to dive into some fascinating material today.
And I'm Jenny, excited to explore what we've got and unpack the insights together.
So for this deep dive, we're focusing on something a bit different. A 2025 astrological forecast, specifically for all our Cancer listeners out there.
Ooh, exciting.
And before we get started, just a reminder that this is a broad overview, not personalized advice. Individual experiences always vary, so take it all with a grain of cosmic salt.
Absolutely. It's like reading a weather forecast. It might say sunny, but you still check the actual temperature and wind conditions before heading out, right?
Exactly. Now, this forecast describes 2025 as a challenging but constructive year for Cancers, one that can give a new perspective on your existence. I don't know about you, but that sounds a little cryptic to me.
Yeah, I can see that.
What does that actually mean for someone navigating life under the sign of the crab?
Well, the forecast highlights the influence of Saturn and Neptune in Aries, especially between May and August, as a key factor in this transformation. This planetary alignment could trigger what's described as a sudden awakening regarding expectations in family work and even friendships.
Sudden awakening. It sounds a little intense, like maybe someone's about to splash a bucket of ice water on you.
Yeah, it can feel that way, especially initially. Imagine wearing rose-colored glasses for a while, then suddenly they're gone. Seeing things clearly can be jarring, even if that clarity is ultimately beneficial.
Okay, I get it.
Mhm.
Sometimes a little jolt is needed to shake things up.
Yeah.
But is this awakening necessarily a bad thing? What's on the other side of that initial shock?
That's the exciting part. This isn't about things falling apart, but rather about shedding what no longer serves you. It's like realizing you've been carrying around a backpack full of rocks, and suddenly you're free to put down that weight and move forward more lightly. It frees up your energy for what truly matters, and the forecast even mentions a shift towards beneficial selfishness.
Beneficial selfishness. Now, there's a phrase I haven't heard before. It seems a bit counterintuitive, doesn't it?
It might sound that way at first, but it's really about aligning your actions with your goals and needs. It's not about being self-centered or inconsiderate, but rather about recognizing that you can't pour from an empty cup. Sometimes saying no to things that drain you is the most generous thing you can do for yourself and ultimately for the people you care about.
I'm starting to see how this challenging aspect of the year actually sets the stage for something positive. It's like clearing out the clutter to make space for something new and better.
Exactly. And the really fascinating thing is that this whole process of self-discovery and reevaluation is preparing Cancers for an even bolder 2026. The forecast emphasizes the importance of decisiveness in the following year. So 2025 is about laying the groundwork, understanding your values, and preparing to make those bolder choices with confidence.
So it's like a cosmic boot camp, getting Cancers ready for a year of action and decisive moves. Knowing this, how can our listeners use this year wisely? Are there any signs or specific things they should be looking out for to make the most of this beneficial selfishness?
Well, there's good news on that front. For much of the year, Cancers have a powerful planetary ally on their side, Jupiter. The forecast mentions Jupiter entering Cancer on June 9th, which is a major astrological event.
Okay, now we're talking. Jupiter is often associated with good fortune and abundance. Does this mean Cancers will be showered with lucky breaks and windfalls in 2025?
Not necessarily showered, but Jupiter does bring an energy of expansion and possibility. However, it's not about sitting back and waiting for things to fall into your laps. It's about recognizing and seizing the opportunities that come your way. Think of it as a cosmic green light for those areas where you've been hesitant to take action.
So less about winning the lottery and more about finally pursuing that passion project you've been dreaming of or taking a leap of faith in your career.
Exactly. In the context of work, Jupiter in Cancer can manifest as new opportunities, breakthroughs in existing projects, or even the courage to finally launch that venture you've been putting off. It's about tapping into that can-do energy and trusting your intuition.
That sounds incredibly empowering. But with all this talk of Jupiter's influence, I'm starting to feel a little like a character in a Greek myth at the mercy of these powerful cosmic forces. Is there anything Cancers can do to actively work with this energy, or are we just along for the ride?
That's a great question, and it highlights a crucial point. We always have free will, even within the framework of astrological influences. Jupiter amplifies what's already there, so it's important to be mindful of its potential pitfalls. The forecast warns against getting swept up in praise or letting success go to your head. Overconfidence or a lack of discernment can lead to missteps.
So it's like that old saying, with great power comes great responsibility. Jupiter might open doors, but it's up to each individual to walk through them wisely.
Precisely. This is where that Beneficial selfishness we talked about comes into play. It's about using Jupiter's expansive energy strategically and ensuring your actions align with your long-term goals. It's like having a powerful tool at your disposal. You don't just use a hammer to fix everything, would you?
No, that would be a recipe for disaster. I'm starting to see how discernment is key. So with all this Jupiterian energy swirling around, are there any specific periods in 2025 that are particularly auspicious for Cancers, especially in their careers? Are there any dates we should circle on our calendars?
Absolutely. The forecast highlights a few key periods where those career aspirations can really take flight. First up, we have February 14th to March 3rd, and then again from March 30th to April 16th. During these times, Mercury forms a favorable aspect to Cancer. And with Mars also in Cancer, these periods are ideal for initiating new projects or pushing forward of existing ones.
So if our Cancer listeners have been sitting on a business idea or waiting for the right moment to ask for that promotion, those two windows are looking pretty good.
Yeah.
It's like having the planets aligned to support their ambitions.
Precisely. It's like having a cosmic tailwind pushing you forward. But, and this is important, the forecast also stresses the importance of staying grounded and within one's means. Even with all that positive energy supporting you, it's crucial to avoid overextending yourself financially or taking on more than you can handle.
Right. So measured steps, not a wild, reckless leap. What other dates should we mark on our calendars?
We'll circle June 9th to 26th with a big, bold marker. Mercury will be transiting Cancer during this time, which tends to heighten awareness of what's working and what's not, both in your career and social life. And since this coincides with Jupiter's grand entrance into Cancer, this period is all about seizing opportunities and making bold moves.
So this is the time to ask for that raise, pitch that passion project, or finally have that difficult conversation with your boss about taking on a leadership role.
Exactly. It's about harnessing that Jupiterian energy to propel yourself forward. Think about it. What have you been putting off that might benefit from this astrological boost?
That's a good question. Maybe I'll finally get around to writing that screenplay I've been dreaming about. Or perhaps I'll finally clean out my overflowing inbox baby steps right.
Whatever it is, those few weeks in June are a perfect time to take action and make it happen.
Okay, so we've got February, March, and June marked as action-packed periods for career moves. Anything else our Cancer listeners should be aware of as the year unfolds?
Yes, there are a couple more periods toward the end of the year that are worth noting. Between October 6th and 29th, and again from November 19th to December 12th, Mercury will be favorably aspecting Cancer from Scorpio. This, combined with the continued influence of Jupiter, suggests a time when hard work and dedication are likely to be recognized and rewarded, particularly financially.
So it's not just about putting in the effort during those earlier periods of opportunity, but also about maintaining that momentum and following through on your commitments. It's like a cosmic reminder that success often comes from a combination of taking bold action and consistent dedication.
Exactly. And remember, the overall theme for Cancer in 2025 is about laying a solid foundation for the future. It's not necessarily about instant gratification, but rather about making strategic moves and putting in the work that will ultimately pay off in the long run.
That's a powerful message, really, for all of us, regardless of our zodiac sign. But I know what our listeners are really waiting for. What about love? The forecast hints that 2025 starts strong for Cancer romance. What's making this such a lovey-dovey time?
Well, Venus, the planet of love and beauty, starts the year in Pisces, where it stays until February 4th. This creates a harmonious aspect to Cancer, fostering romance, deep emotional connections, and even a bit of that grand gesture energy.
Oh, grand gestures. Now, I'm not talking about someone showing up with a boombox playing In Your Eyes outside their beloved's window. That's a little too 80s, isn't it?
Perhaps skip the boombox, but the sentiment is spot on. Venus in Pisces is all about romantic idealism and expressing affection in heartfelt, meaningful ways. Think candlelit dinners, handwritten love letters, and maybe even a surprise weekend getaway.
Okay, I'm definitely feeling the romance here. But how will this Venus in Pisces energy play out differently for single Cancers versus those already in relationships?
That's a great question. For those already coupled up, this is a wonderful time to reignite the passion. Remember why you fell in love in the first place and create some special moments together. Think about it as an opportunity to reconnect on a deeper level beyond the day-to-day routines.
Like a romantic reboot for the relationship. I like it. What about our single listeners? Will they be swept off their feet by a sudden, unexpected romance?
It's certainly possible. For single Cancers, this Venus in Pisces transit could bring some whirlwind love at first sight encounters. It's a time when old walls can crumble and you might find yourself more open to new connections than usual.
Sounds exciting. But is this just a fleeting moment of romance, or does this loving energy continue to flow throughout the year?
Don't worry, Vincent, the romance doesn't end there. Mark your calendars for March 27th to April 30th because Venus returns to Pisces for another round of love-infused energy.
A Venus encore. What can we expect during this second visit? Will it be a repeat performance, or will there be some new twists to the romantic plot?
This time around, Venus gets a boost from Mars, adding a playful and adventurous vibe to the mix. It's a perfect time for dating, trying new things together, and even shaking things up a bit in established relationships.
So if our listeners have been feeling stuck in a romantic rut, this is their chance to inject some excitement and spontaneity into their love lives.
Absolutely. Think outside the box, be spontaneous, and don't be afraid to step outside your comfort zones. What romantic rut could you shake up during this time, Vincent?
Well, maybe I'll finally convince Jenny to go on that tandem bike ride with me. I've been wanting to try that for ages. Wish me luck.
You'll need it. But getting back to the forecast, while those early months are certainly favorable for love, the real romance peak hits a little later in the year from July 31st to August 25th.
Okay, so summer is when things get really interesting on the love front. What's fueling this mid-year surge in love vibes? Is it Cupid's arrow, or is there a more cosmic explanation?
Well, it's all thanks to Jupiter, which will be in Cancer during this time. Remember all that expansive, lucky energy we talked about earlier? Well, during this period, it's going to be channeled into your love life.
Wow, so Jupiter's playing Cupid this summer. What kind of impact can Cancers expect from this powerful planetary alignment?
For some Cancers, this could be a complete shift in how they approach love and relationships. They might embrace new perspectives, let go of old patterns, and open themselves up to something truly transformative. Think of it as a time for significant personal growth within the realm of relationships.
Sounds intense. What about those who are already in committed relationships? How will this Jupiter and Cancer energy affect them?
For couples, this can be a time of deepening the bond, experiencing emotions more intensely, and reaching a new level of understanding and intimacy. Think of it as an opportunity to solidify your connection and take your relationship to the next level.
So we're ending the year on a romantic high then. Everything's coming up roses for our Cancer listeners.
Well, not so fast, Vincent. We have one more Venus transit to consider. From November 6th to 30th, Venus will be in Scorpio, which can awaken some dormant desires and intensify emotions even further. Cancers might crave more passion and intimacy, seek validation, and be more daring than usual in expressing their feelings.
Ooh, a little bit of Scorpio drama never hurt anyone, right?
Exactly. This transit could lead to some secret romances, exploration of unconventional sides of love, or even just a renewed sense of passion within existing relationships. Think of it as a time to embrace your wilder side and explore the depths of your emotional landscape.
Wow. Jenny, 2025 sounds like a roller coaster ride for Cancers both in love and career.
It certainly does. It's a year filled with opportunities for growth, transformation, and fulfillment, but it also requires a willingness to embrace change, make bold choices, and stay true to your own needs and desires.
That's a fantastic summary, Jenny.
Yeah.
So to wrap up this deep dive, it sounds like 2025 is going to be a pretty intense year for Cancers, but in a good way, right? A year full of opportunities and new beginnings.
Absolutely. Cancers, if you're listening, embrace the change, be bold, be decisive, and most importantly, be true to yourself.
Great advice. And to all our listeners out there, be sure to subscribe to Lucky Fortune English for more insights into love life and everything in between.
And don't forget to check your daily horoscope for some personalized guidance.
Until next time, take care and good luck.